Well, good afternoon. How many of you took the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge? I have to tell you, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very, very much. Do you know to date, the ALS Association has raised $125 million? Nancy Frates is a persistent woman who worked hard even when it felt like there was no solution. Her son, Pete Frates, was diagnosed with ALS at a young age, and Nancy Frates persevered to raise awareness for this disease. On November 19, 2014, she explains her journey to this goal. The mother who started the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. It takes me back to the summer of 2011, when my family and my kids decided, let's go on a vacation. And one night, I found myself with my son, Pete. And he looked at me and just said, Mom, I need to leave this family vacation early. My inner city baseball league made the playoffs, and I have to go back to Boston. I just can't let my team down. So off Pete went and left the family vacation. We followed up 4 days later to see his next game. We were at the playoff game, Pete was at the plate, and a fastball was coming in. And it hit him right on the wrist. And it went completely limp, like this. Then, for the next 6 months, Pete went back to his home in Southie and went to doctors to see what was wrong with that wrist that never came back. 6 months later, in March, we got a call from him, and he said, "Oh, Mom and Dad, a doctor found a diagnosis for that wrist. Do you want to come in for the doctor's appointment?" I said, "Sure, we'll come in." And we walked into the neurologist's office. 4 doctors walked in, and the head neurologist sat down. He just said, "Well, Pete, I've been looking at all your tests, and I gotta tell you, it's not a sprained wrist. It's not a broken wrist. It's not nerve damage. It's not an infection. It's not Lyme's disease." And there was this deliberate elimination going up. And I was thinking, where is he going with this? Then he put his hands on his knees and looked at my 27-year-old child and said, "I don't know how to tell a 27-year-old this, but Pete, you have ALS." ALS? I looked at my husband, he looked at me, and we looked at the doctor. ALS, okay, what do we gotta do? How do we fix this? And the doctor just looked at us and said, "Mr. and Mrs. Frates, I'm sorry to tell you this, but there's no treatment, and there's no cure." We were the worst culprits. So in the days and months that followed, our brothers and sisters and our family came to us. And all these people, co-workers, classmates, teammates, that Pete has inspired throughout his life. All the circles of Pete intersected and made the Team Frady train. And in the couple of years passing by, Pete, we've had our highs and lows. We just saw our child being taken away from us little by little every day. 2.5 years ago, Pete was hitting home runs at baseball fields. And today, he's completely paralyzed. He cannot hold his head up any longer. He's confined to a motorized wheelchair. He cannot eat, he cannot speak, and he has eye gaze technology. ALS robs the body of all its physical parts, but keeps the brain intact. So on July 4, 2014, the MLB asked Pete to write an article in the Bleacher Report. And then 20 days later, the ice started to fall. Pete's roommate in New York City said, "I am taking the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge." Picked up ice, poured it on his head, and I'm nominating and sent it up to Boston. We knew that awareness would lead to funding, but we didn't know that it would only take a couple of weeks. Week 1, Boston media. Week 2, national media. Week 3, celebrities. YouTube reported that over 150 countries made videos for the Ice Bucket Challenge. And Facebook, 2.5 million videos. And our favorite? Bill Gates. Because the night Pete was diagnosed with ALS, he said that he would bring ALS in front of philanthropists like Bill Gates. And he did it. Goal number 1 check. Now on to the treatment and cure. Now, we know that the Ice Bucket Challenge is not only about pouring buckets of ice on your head. So let me leave you with a couple of words that I'd like you to remember. Number 1, every morning we can wake up and live our life in positivity. Pete has inspired us to wake up every morning and be positive and proactive. Number 2, the person in the middle of the challenge has to have the mental toughness to put themselves out there. Pete still goes to baseball games and sits in the dugout. And number 3, if you come across a situation that you find unacceptable, dig as deep as you can and find your mother bear and go after it. Pete has been an inspiring and leading figure his whole life. He has given me my directive in life. Now, I'd like to tell you a few words that Pete used as inspiration on his teammates, coworkers, and classmates. Be passionate, be genuine, be hardworking, and don't forget to be great. Thank you.